is it really true that the Israeli people are affected by occupying another people and by actually building a wall around them? Do you think that this actually has a psychological effect on the Israeli public?
Yeah, of course. As a collective, it's a saying. It's a very strong saying of we don't want to be part of this place. You know, it's clear to me.
Do you think that they will ever come to a point of saying this is bad for us?
Maybe it's one step, because there were these few years of relative opening, the Oslo years, where something started to happen in terms of them, the Israelis, us, starting to imagine that it could be possible, to go to Damascus, and I think that it's also a reaction to that, a fear to that. Maybe it will just postpone it, sometime historical process, you make one step forwards and then you need to make 2 steps back and then you will go on, I don't know, I hope. But I see it as a fear of integrating the region, of becoming part of it. Besides of all the, the just vulgarious aims of this war, of spoliating more lands and encaging the Palestinians and not letting them having a possible state and so on. But psychologically, the fact that it was so massively adopted to have this wall.
Do you think? I know this is.
It brings the Jews back to the ghetto. Really.
Do you think is this a metaphor, or you think really?
No.
Really?
When you are used to your sickness, it's very painful to not to be sick anymore. It exists. When the trauma is very strong, you feel comfortable in it. This is how This is the life you know.
But then, if you think about this, if you're saying that this is a kind of an old trauma, where does the arrogance come from? Because in my opinion, for instance, the fact that the Jews came to the land and made a land of Israel out of it, expelling quite a lot of Palestinians and occupying their land, then feeling not necessarily fear, but also a kind of arrogance and pride about the military strength and in a kind of indulgence, in fact, in the sadism of occupying another people. How could this, let's say, country retrieve its Jewish identity when, by simply tribalizing itself, it has lost its Jewish identity, which is more diasporic, which is less centralized, which is more resistant to, let's say, powers and occupations, and suddenly it's just become a power and an occupation?
I think the whole world, especially the Western world, has a great responsibility in this, because the indulgence was the indulgence of the world. They all clapped to all of what you said, and they still clap. And I don't know if it's an excuse, but it helps to understand. The Israelis, one of the difficulties to be critical about themselves is that all what they do, even when it's very mean, very cruel, very unfair, the world claps, or at least accepts with no problem. And that's a real problem, but a real problem. Now, I cannot add much to what you said. It's true. I feel that Israel is is not Jewish anymore, in a sense. Judaism is something completely different to be a Jew than to be an Israeli. Completely different. The problem is that all this became very complex because most of the Jews in the world, they support this way of being a Jew, which is the Israeli way. So I don't know, maybe Judaism is finished. You know, I think that Zionism succeeded. Not only in expelling the Palestinians, but also in destroying a certain idea of what it is to be a Jew, which has been alive for centuries.